We are ready to get this thing rolling, so sit back as we are off. Help us celebrate all the goals, the smooth turns, and the sweet spin moves. Coach O is liking what he sees. Sportsnight is next.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sportsnight. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. And Joe, we had a lot of action tonight.
We do, and time is ticking away on the winter season. Girls hockey team actually finished the regular season, set to get into playoffs this weekend. Girls hockey team, we talked about it, a huge role, and the role continued last week against North Metro. 8-0. They beat the Stars, and that is shutout number 8 in a row for Sammy Miller. Sammy shutout 8 straight. That's unbelievable.
That's incredible.
A lot of goals. Brina and Hannah each had 3, had a couple of helpers as well. Zarate and Bezcalo each got on into the net as well. Cameron Crawford had a couple of assists in that one. Unfortunately, the streak had to come to an end, and it ended at the hands of the number 1 ranked Blake Bears on Saturday at the Crick. The SLPCR squad falling 7-1. Sammy Miller still a nice game, 36 saves against the Bears, and they come up short. But a great way to finish January, to be certain, for this team. There's a look at the section brackets. Blaine gets the number 1 seed and the bye. They will play the winner of our first contest. Spring Lake Park Coon Rapids, the number 4 seed, gets number 5 seeded Rogers on Saturday over at Roseville. That game at 2:30, and we will have it for you here. Of course, we can't have it live, so it'll be replaying on Saturday evening, I believe, starting at 8 o'clock. Maple Grove, the number 2 seed. How do you like them apples? Number 3 in the state, number 2 in their section. Crimson will get Champlain Park in the first round. Centennial, the number 3 seed, will get Anoka to start the playoffs. Just 4 games left in the boys' regular season schedule, and a couple of really tough games this week for the Cardinals. They come in with a little bit of confidence. Coon Rapids able to get a couple of much-needed wins this past week. They opened play against Champlain Park on Thursday night, and the Cardinals flew away with a season sweep. Defensive struggle throughout, no score. Final minute of the second period. Caden Bauman able to poke the puck free at the blue line. He's racing in on the shorthanded breakaway, fires it past Hansen. Rebels up 1-0 after 2. Cardinals dictating the tempo early in the third period, and they get the equalizer 3 minutes in. Great feed from Matt Ammon to Isaac Ruff at the back door. Home team has some momentum. Wide open net for Ruff to put it home. They have some momentum going their way in the final frame. Power play pays off a little later in the period. Cards control the draw. Initial shot comes from Zach Thompson. Great work on the doorstep by Travis Hess to finally poke it home. Coon Rapids on top with 10 minutes left. Down to the final 3, and a tough one for the Champlain keeper. Comes out to play the puck, can't get it out of the zone. Instead, he gets the assist right to Isaac Ruff. Wide open net. Fires it home, and the Cardinals prevail 3-1.
Yeah, it was a nice win for him, no doubt. It's we were at the game and able to call that, and they had Champlain Park's number this year. That's the second time they swept them, and it was nice to see that win and carry a little momentum as it gets closer to the section time.
Well, and also because the goal, the shorthanded goal with 30 seconds left in the second period, could have been deflating. Instead, Coon Rapids came out on the other side of that break. They finished their power play strong. They kept pressure on. They kept the puck down in the Champlain end until they got the equalizer. They get a power play a few minutes later, take the lead, and they skate away with the victory from there. They made it 2 in a row with a win over Osseo on Saturday, beating the Orioles 2-1. Well, revenge for giving the Orioles their first win of the season when they visited the Crick a couple weeks back. Tyler George and Travis Hess had the 2 goals for the Cardinals. Ty Hansen made 21 saves and gave up just the 1 goal in the win. And Cardinals, as I mentioned, have a couple of tough games coming up. They host Maple Grove on Thursday. They're at Blaine on Saturday.
Yeah, very
Maple
tough.
Grove right now ranked number 11 in state, but they're playing really well. They won 2 games, then they lost 2 3-2 contests. So 1-goal games that could have easily gone their way. They come back and win 2 more. So over the last 6, they're playing pretty solid.
They are, no question.
But some very good competition coming their way this week. Wrestling team back in action after a week off, and boy, did they look well rested as they pummeled the Elk River Elks 54-24 on Thursday. There's some of the pins for you, including 113, 120, 126, and 132. By the way, that's 4 in a row. 4 of the first 5, they got pins. Isaiah Thompson gave him another pin at 145, and Spencer Howe had one at 152. I think there were a couple more. I just couldn't fit them all on there. 54-24 the win. On Saturday, they went over to Blaine for the Blaine Duels. They beat up on the Rosemont Irish 61-9 in that one. They lose to Egan 47-12, but bounce back with a win over Malacca Faith Christian. And this one was really kind of interesting because it went pin to pin to pin, back and forth, went right down to the end. And as it was, Malacca Faith Christian got 2 pins at 195 and 220, but they didn't have a guy strong enough to go up against Mandyke at heavyweight, so they forfeit, and Mandyke, and that's the win.
Tough way to lose it for them, no question about it. Cards will take it.
So, but a good weekend for the wrestling team, and they're going to need every trick in the book if they hope to keep their streak alive. They're perfect in the conference. Last match of the season coming up on Friday at Anoka.
Yeah, Anoka's got a tough squad there. I believe there are 3 in the state. I think a poll comes out this Friday, so we'll see if there's any movement. And we'll talk about it because we'll be there Friday night.
And the Cardinals will definitely be underdogs, and Anoka will have the home field advantage as well. But it's always exciting when you get those 2 teams on the mat, especially when it comes down to the end of the season and the conference championship is on the line. Section 7 AA team championships will be held a week from Friday. Gymnastics team, 1 meet last week, went to Centennial to take on the Cougars, and they put up a good score, 121.55. Centennial a little bit better at 132.15. But some good results as we've talked about with this program. A lot of girls stepping up and seeing their numbers improve and helping to keep those numbers up, see if they can get back into the 125s, 126s by the end of the season. Dieters and Rushmeyer, the leaders for the Cardinals against Centennial in most events, and in the all-around they finished 2nd and 4th respectively. That same team at Maple Grove on Thursday, and then the 7 AA championships will be at Forest Lake a week from Saturday. Swimming and diving, 1 meet last week.
Yep.
It was their part of the Northwest Suburban Conference Tournament, a tri-meet to determine 11th place in the conference, and the Cardinals came away victorious. They finish in 11th place. They finish over Osseo and Park Center. It's their best finish in 5 years.
It's great.
And Coach Donaldson's, this was a very exciting meet. He had a lot of very close finishes, and it came down really to the last event, and the Cardinals able to out-touch that 3rd place finish right there, essentially sealed the victory for them. In the last event, to get that last point, they were able to get over the top against Osseo and also Park Center. But some of the other finishes, Alex Schmidt in the first place in the 200 IM, Matt Struess first place in the 50 free. Trong is first place in the 100 fly. Patrick Schultz first in the 100 free. Tyler Schultz first place in the 100 breast.
You know, of course, we got an email from Coach Donaldson, and I think that this particular meet aged him a little bit. Yeah, he said as it went right down to the wire, and fortunately the Cardinals got the win, but he got about 5 years older
he was
in an evening's time.
He was very excited, had a lot of great things to say about his team, was very happy with the result and hoping that they can continue that on. They've got about 2 weeks off before the section tournament, which is the 23rd through the 25th. So about a little more than 2 weeks away, and then state championships will be the week after that.
Yes, it will. Well, the Nordic ski teams will compete in the section meet this week after a great showing in last week's Northwest Suburban Conference Championships. The NWSC meet is a 5K pursuit, a 5K classic, and a 5K freestyle. Best combined times. So it's a great test of skill, endurance, and of course, speed. Cardinals certainly hope the weather is as good for this week's race as it was in almost perfect conditions on Wednesday at Theodore Wirth. Cardinals took advantage, a lot of them posting season or even personal bests. Abby Ellenbacher led the way, finishing 24th. Younger sister Olivia Ellenbacher took 30th in the 28 minutes flat. Izzy Haberman was 46th. Lila Gilliard was 71st, and Maddie Karen took 78th. Cardinals take 9th as a team. Boys coming up got great finishes all throughout their lineup. See the finishes for the girls. 8th grader coming up for the boys. Ricky Petroff was second on the team, finishing 17th overall. Junior Mitch Zandarowski had a nice race as well, finishing 24th in Classic and 32nd in the Pursuit. And of course, junior Paul Breitbach was the Cardinals leader in the event, finishing one spot ahead of Petroff in 16th place with a combined time of 22:56.95. 9th grader Jared Haida, third on the team, finishing 30th place overall. And Coon Rapids right in the middle of the pack. They finished in 6th place. So a nice finish for the boys squad.
Not how Haida wanted to cross the finish line, but hey, a solid race. And
no question.
Very exciting to see the contributions from the lower grade levels.
Yep, no question.
You know, you got Petrov coming in from 8th grade,
Yep.
being one of the top guys. And you got Haida really pushing that group too as a freshman, and all 5 of their top finishers will be back for at least one more season, so that's very exciting. Section 5 race taking place against, as you mentioned, at Theodore Wirth on Wednesday of this week. And fortunately, it looks like the weather's going to hold. It's going to get really warm this weekend, but for Wednesday, they should have pretty good snow. And then they go up north to Biwabik next week for state championships, should anybody advance. So weather up there will be just fine.
Yeah, Wednesday they're going to have to deal with the cold, but you're right, plenty of snow, no question. Friday it's going to be about 45 here, so time to bring the shorts out.
Right. Alpine team had the week off, but they have their Section 7 championships going on right now, as a matter of fact, up at Giants Ridge. Should anyone advance, the state championships are also at Giants Ridge. That is next Wednesday. Boys basketball team opened last week's play with a road trip to Elk River on Tuesday night. Elks are playing strong right now. After a slow start, they'd come up big and put themselves second in the division behind Champlin Park. Cardinals knew they could play with the Elks, but they'd have to be up on their game if they hope to beat the Elks on their court. Cardinals turning the Elks over literally at times. Brandon Pratt pries it free, gets it up court. Lionel Warner lays it in easy with the left hand. He had a game-high 20 points. First meeting was a 3-point Coon Rapids win. It says all the earmarkings of another nail-biter. Marcel Winston looked cool, calm, and he collects from beyond the arc. Elk River kept the edge on the scoreboard most of the first half. Cardinals just trying to keep it close. Ball poked free. Tyrion reclaims it, gets to the basket plus the foul. He had 10. Elks had things going their way all night. Final seconds, missed free throw. Blake Hills has the rebound, race up court, finds Cameron Cotton at the top of the key, off the bank at the buzzer. Elk River to the locker room with a 9-point lead. Elk River's defense turning the Cardinals over in the second. Blake Hills run all the way home with this one. He had 20 points to lead the Elks. Jack Berger and Wyatt Morrill each had 15 as Elk River able to avenge the earlier loss with a 55-42 win over the Cardinals.
Yeah, and that was an opportunity for see if they could get a sweep, but the Elks at home had different ideas and they ran away with it for the most part.
Well, and the nice thing is the Cardinals bounced back, getting a little revenge of their own. Anoka won a close game over the Cardinals first time around at the Roger E. Carlson Fieldhouse. Cardinals repay the favor with a 9-point win over the Tornadoes on Friday. Dio Lawal leading the way with 19 points. 7 boards. Tyrion Johnson had 14, 5 rebounds, 5 steals, 5 assists. Marcel Winston had 9 points, Sam Carver 8. And Lionel Warner held to just 6 points and 6 boards, but the Cardinals come away with the win.
Well, the boys were back at the barn on Monday, welcoming the Centennial Cougars to Roger E. Carlson. The two teams were dead even in the division standings. They're very similar in size, skill, and style of play. The Cardinals won the first meeting and were going for the season sweep, but the Cougars came hungry for some revenge.
It's a theme.
Yeah. This game started with streaks. Centennial came out fast, scored the first 7 points of the game. But you know what? The Cardinals, they were not discouraged. They're going to respond with a run of their own, 11 straight, including Dio Lawal's 3. He had 6 points before leaving with an ankle injury, but a nice shot from the outside there. Coon Rapids was up by 3 at the half and led by 9 when the comeback began. Elliot Lyden steal and the layup. He led Centennial with 15 points on the night. Cardinals trying to keep their distance. Big man Sam Carver from long range makes it count. Carver had 11 against the Cougars. Well, Centennial went on a 13-3 run late in the half. Josh McGreal's basket in the middle part of that put them in front into the lead. This is going to be in the final minute. Lionel Warner jumps this pass, scores easily at the other end. That's going to put the Cards up by 1. Cougars are able to answer with one of their big guns. Shane Talene scorches one from the perimeter to put Centennial back in front for good. Cardinals came up short. Unfortunately, in this one, they lost by a score of 54-50. Joe, that was a tough one for them because, I think they controlled for the most part. A lot of looks underneath. They missed a lot of short layups that, had they made those, they would have won this contest.
But it's the failure to be able to convert, especially in the second half when they had a lot of looks real close to the rim. But then defensively got a little bit off their game midway through that second half. That's when Centennial was able to open that lead up a little bit, get in front, and the Cardinals just didn't have that last second basket they needed.
On a big Coon Rapids turnover right towards the end of that game really hurt them as well.
Correct. Well, the Cardinals have a couple on the road this week. They're at Osseo on Friday, then they're at Andover next Tuesday. Girls basketball team started last week's play facing one of the only 2 teams still undefeated in Class 2A this season. Elk River came into the contest a perfect 18-0, ranked second behind Hopkins. They have a similar lineup with a ton of speed and talent. They play stifling defense, score in transition, and, oh, by the way, they can shoot really well, too. The Elks waste no time showing their dominance. Gabby Hawk's three-pointer helped them to a 9-0 lead. Cardinals had to battle for every look at the other end, and every shot is going to be contested. Very strong on defense are the Elks. Fortunately, Caitlin Ackerman able to fight through the defense for that basket. She had 10 against the Elks. This one is never in question. Gabby Hawk had 3 3-pointers in the first half, scored 13 of her game 21 before the break. One spot the Cardinals had an advantage was underneath. Ellie Carver led the Cardinals with 14. They were just not able to exploit that often enough against the Elks. The younger Hawk getting involved in the long ball late in the half. Freshman Lydia Hawk's 3 put Elk River up 20 late in the first. It was running time before the end. Elks make it 19 straight with a 76-40 win.
It was certainly nice to see Ellie scoring double digits underneath, but you can understand why Elk River is 18-0 coming into this game. And they are really good. They play well defensively. They shoot the lights out, as you talked about, from the perimeter, and they just play an all-around good game.
And when they play pressure defense,
look out.
Boy, do they play pressure defense. Girls basketball team took on Anoka on Friday, and that was not the kind of game they wanted. They managed just 26 points against the Tornadoes, losing 45-26, falling to 1-8 in division play.
We may have mentioned on this very program once or twice in the past about how good the teams are in the Northwest Suburban. Another stark reminder for the girls basketball team on Monday. After last week's game against number 2 Elk River, the Cardinals hit the road to start this week against the 6th-ranked Centennial Cougars. Cougars came in at a 17-3 mark and had won 6 straight, dating back to their previous meeting with the Cardinals. Coon Rapids able to keep up with the Cougars for the most part in the first. Ellie Carver misses in close, but Caitlin Ackerman is there to put the rebound home. Caitlin had 8 in the game. Cougars able to maintain the lead most of the way, just not able to stretch it out. Sydney Stapleton drives and scores. Cardinals just trying to keep it close. Courtney Ackerman drives, dishes. Carver hits the jumper from 17. She led Coon Rapids with 10 points. We're still in the first. Carver sends it back inside to Lainey Hanneman. She's able to turn and score. Coon Rapids trails by just 9 points at the half. Now things are going to change in the second. Cougars finally start to pull away. Taylor McCauley's three-pointer, part of a big run to open the second half. And they don't let up. Claire Orth gets the steal. She'll let McCauley have the finish. Cardinals held to just 9 points in the second half. Centennial's going to run away with this one. 72-37 was the final.
Yeah, they're pretty good, too.
They're really good, too. And 9 points in the second half, obviously disconcerting for Coach Peterson.
Absolutely, albeit against a very good team and a great defense.
No question.
9 points in that half, only 26 in the game against Anoka. As you look forward to tournament time just a couple of weeks away, those are obviously things you want to be able to address. But Cardinals do have a couple of games at home. They host Osseo on Thursday, and then we'll host Andover on Tuesday of next week. And I believe, Howie, we might be there. against Andover? Are we there next Tuesday?
No.
I'm mistaken. Next Tuesday, we're doing girls hockey because they should be playing in the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah, that will be the case.
I knew we had something on the schedule.
Yep, absolutely.
Hockey, basketball. That was one.
Yeah, close. They're almost the same.
But we got a lot of great stuff coming up for you. We talked about it, the wrestling match against Anoka on Friday, the battle for the Golden Shoes and the Northwest Suburban Crown. Live coverage starts at 7, and then we will have the girls hockey playoffs against Rogers. That'll premiere here. I'm hoping to get it on for you by 8. I'm going to have to push some buttons, see if we can get that to happen instead of midnight, because it's a 2:30 start over at Roseville. So come out, cheer them on, then come home and watch and play your favorite album while you watch.
Well, you don't listen to us.
Correct.
And watch the video.
And then should the Spring Lake Park Coon Rapids squad advance, we will be there on Tuesday as they take on the top-seeded Blaine Bengals. But that's going to do it for this edition of Sportsnight. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Howard Shapiro, I'm Joe Young. Saying good night.